That happened last year with Kώστα Σλούκα.
I don't want any problems. You know, they say, no, we respect you as a player.
We understand you are a strong character.
You know, I know who I am. I know what type of player I am. And, you know, that was the first time in a long time I felt like I wanted to cry.
Αϊζάια, welcome to Greece.
Thank you.
How do you feel about returning here?
You know, I'm excited to be here. Looking forward to seeing a lot of people, you know, that relationships that I made. And just to get back out there and play, you know, in front of a lot of people that, you know, supported me and, you know, pushed me to be, you know, a great player the last 2 seasons that I was here. So it'll be fun to get back out there, you know, see some faces and get a chance to play.
Now we're going to Olympiacos because you have a lot of fans in Greece here of Olympiacos. Last summer you take a difficult decision to leave Olympiacos to sign a contract with Red Star. Do you feel justified for your decision until now?
I mean, you know, I just look at it at, you know, at the end of the day, you know, it was a business decision, you know. They had to do what was best or what they thought was best, you know, for that team. And, you know, I had to do what was best for me and my family. You know, at the end of the day, you know, I think, you know, both sides to somewhat, you know, is happy. That's all you can ask for. It's a business at the end of the day. You can't, you know, take decisions or when it comes to what team you on or what team you're not on. You know, you just got to kind of trust in God and, you know, keep your faith. And, you know, I know who I am. I know what type of player I am. And at the end of the day, you want to be somewhere, you know, you wanted. And, you know, Coach Gianni and Red Star really wanted me. And, you know, I wanted to challenge myself and try to go accomplish something that hasn't been done here.
At the end of the day, do you feel a nice taste on your mouth or bittersweet because you leave the team and you didn't achieve all your goals to last Final Fours?
I mean, you know, them last 2 Final Fours was tough, you know, for me, you know, but it was a great experience. You know, I got a chance to actually see what it takes, you know, to get there and actually play in a championship game in EuroLeague, which, you know, to some people is the NBA Finals, or you can compare it to NBA Finals. And to be able to get to the biggest game in Europe, you know, in a tough and challenging league, you can never take those things for granted. And I had a lot of great teammates, you know, great coaching staff to push me and help me, you know, become a better player. And, you know, those 2 seasons was amazing. You know, it's a lot of memories and, like you say, a lot of cups and championships we brought in. And you can never take those things for granted. So I wish them nothing but the best. And I'm sure they do the same for me.
How was your collaboration with Coach Sfαιρόπουλο, and what makes him special as a person and as a coach?
You know, he's passionate in the game of basketball. He's been around. He's a very experienced coach, and you know, he's been in the Final Four as well. So he knows what it takes to get there. Defense wins championships, and he's big on, you know, defense, and you know, that's what's had us successful all season long. And, you know, he's going to continue to push us and motivate us to get to a place where he, you know, has been. And he believes in his team and he believes in us. And, you know, it shows.
You have worked with 4 Greek coaches, Andreas Bistiolis at Galatasaray, Dimitris Prifis at Onyx Kazan, Γιώργος Μπαρτζώκας at Olympiacos, and now Coach Sfαιρόπουλος to Red Star. What do you keep from each one of them?
They're all different in their own ways. You know, they all, you know, have their own specialties and, you know, things that they bring to the game of basketball, which is why they're in good positions to lead teams. You know, the biggest thing I can take from them is that Greek language, you know, just hearing them when they're happy and hearing them when they're
Greek now.
when they're upset. So just hearing them and experience being around them and their culture and just picking, you know, each one of them have a little different type of, you know, style. And I've been around them my whole career in Europe. So, you know, people ask me all the time, are you going to get a citizenship? And I said, I mean, you would think I would have one, you know, by now, but it's been fun, you know, to learn and adapt from the, you know, Greek culture.
Okay, I want to ask you about Coach Μπαρτζώκας. You had a special relationship at Olympiacos. Do you believe he's the best coach of EuroLeague the last years? And if his basketball is successful?
Well, you know, they have the Coach of the Year award. So, you know, I've learned a lot from him. How he, you know, developed me as a player, you know, to see the game of basketball in a different eye or something that I was, you know, used to being a part of. And, you know, at the end of the day, you know, he's a great guy, great coach. You know, you can't take away his resume and what he's done and how successful he's been, you know, and, you know, at the end of the day, you know, he has his goals. Everybody else has theirs, you know, and at the end of the day, everybody's, you know, trying to accomplish one goal, and that's to win and be successful.
We understand you are a strong character, a fighter, on and off the court. That happened last year with Kostas Sloukas at the Greek finals. It was a result of your philosophy and your character, or just happened something else?
It was just, you know, part of the game, moment of the game, and two competitors, two successful players that's, you know, just competing at a high level, you know, trying to win for respective sides. And it was just a heated moment of the game, you know. After the game, you know, he went on about his business, and I did as well. And, you know, I'm sure him or me don't lose sleep about that moment. And like I said, it's just two competitors trying to compete and win a game.
You have a season in EuroLeague with Red Star with some struggle matches and great victories. How difficult is to find consistency in this year? Because EuroLeague is a very difficult league, and you are a new team with a lot of new players.
You know, it's a difficult season. As you can see, the standings are very close. It's a lot of great teams. You know, our coach has been preaching to us to take it one game at a time, and that's been successful for us all season long. You know, we've had a lot of great games, a lot of great victories, and we've had a lot of, you know, tough ones as well. And it's a grind out season, you know, and it's going to come down to, you know, the very last game. And as fans and as competitors, you know, you like to have, you know, seasons like that where, you know, it's not just one team as a clear cut. You know, you got a couple, you know, teams that's just as good. And, you know, we've been doing a tremendous job with, you know, this being the first season with this team being together, you know, including myself. It's a lot of new guys. And, you know, Coach Gianni has done a tremendous job of finding ways to keep us together and keep us, you know, competitive.
Against Partizan, your rival at Serbia, you have a great tradition. What's the key for a lot of wins in the series, in ABA League, in EuroLeague, from the last season and this season?
Just continue, you know, just to move on. You know, you can't be too high on a win and you can't be too low, you know, on a loss because you have another game, you know, right after that. So you just have to move on and continue to, you know, believe in the goals and believe in your coach and the plans and the, you know, the strategies that he has for our team to be successful. You know, just continue to believe in those and just go out there and give it, you know, everything you got, you know, every night, whether it's a win or loss. You know, that's the only way to continue to be successful and continue to push forward.
You have played now in Red Star and Olympiacos. What's the biggest difference between the two teams?
The biggest difference is...
Biggest pressure has Olympiacos?
I wouldn't even, you know, obviously being here and playing with Olympiacos, you know, helped me understand these derbies and the pressure that come with those derbies. And, you know, that helped me a lot, you know, be better in them and, you know, look at them a lot different or from a different view. And outside of the weather, you know, or the location, you know, things are good. You know, my family is happy. You know, I'm happy, can't complain. And
that's the most important. Right?
That's the most important. And, you know, it's two amazing organizations and they deserve and, you know, the fans deserve everything that they get.
The fans of Red Star and Olympiacos are very passionate. Who's the most crazy?
Maybe we have to, maybe we have to put the little noise meter in the gym, but I don't know. That's really a tough question. You know, it's a tough question because both fan bases are amazing.
Have you ever crazy experience in the streets, in the restaurant, or here or Belgrade with the fans?
Nah, I've always been on the good side of that. You know, I've never experienced or had nothing too crazy, you know, happen to me. You know, I do come across a lot of the rival fans and they say, before we say anything, you know, they tell me their team and I say, oh, I don't want any problems. You know, they say, no, we respect you as a player. And, you know, I tell them, I say, you know, I really appreciate it because at the end of the day, I don't want anything negative to happen to a rival fan or a rival player. You know, it's a game of basketball and I want what's best for you off the court. You know, I don't want anything negative to happen to you. And, you know, I just wish they wished the same for us.
It's and now painful the Κάουνας.
Yeah, that's the only one. You know, even to this day, I still laugh and talk.
Because you have your birthday, you scored 21 points, 6 3-point shoot. Yeah. You are up 7 points 2 minutes before the end.
And I told everybody that was the first time in a long time, I felt like I wanted to cry. His birthday, everything was going the way I wanted it. You know, it looked like I had the cake right here. Yeah, the fans was amazing, and it was like I had the cake right in my hand. You know, walking out of the store, and then Louisville hit the shot, and it's like I just dropped it. You know, and it's, you know, a kid dropped, you know, something that they really love and cherish. You know, they just want to break down. So, you know, that was the first time in a long time I felt like I wanted to cry, but I took it on the chin, and, you know, it just motivated me, you know, to get back.
What happened with the shoes?
With the shoes. Yeah, that was crazy. I don't know, but everybody called me. Adidas, Nike called me, and now all of a sudden everybody want to work with me. So I'm like, hey.
Thank you very much, Αϊζάια. It was an honor for us.
All right, thank you. Thanks for having me.